The California real estate dream is crumbling. Top 10 cities on the brink of collapse. That's not a headline. It's the quiet reality unfolding across California right now. Behind the sunshine, the freeways, and the postcard coastline, something deeper is shifting, slow enough that most people don't notice, but fast enough that the numbers no longer lie. From rising insurance costs to shrinking tax bases to a growing mismatch between income and housing prices, entire cities are entering a level of strain we haven't seen in decades. And today, we're breaking down the 10 California cities showing the clearest signs of collapse, based on housing stress, economic pressure, outmigration, and market instability. Let's begin. Number 10, Santa Maria. Santa Maria has always been one of California's quieter cities, but beneath the surface, the stability residents once trusted is slipping. Home prices increased far faster than local wages, widening the affordability gap each year. Rising insurance premiums and stricter lending standards have made homeownership feel out of reach for many families. Rental availability has tightened as more households fall into cost-burdened categories. Job growth in the region has slowed, leaving fewer opportunities for advancement. Homelessness indicators have risen steadily, stretching local resources. Long-standing agricultural jobs have become more volatile, adding uncertainty to the workforce. As residents move to cheaper inland areas, Santa Maria faces shrinking tax revenue that impacts infrastructure and services. Schools and roads show signs of wear without adequate funding. While the city avoids headlines, experts warn Santa Maria is entering early-stage decline. Number 9, Modesto. Modesto sits at the crossroads of rising demand and decreasing affordability. Now the market is softening, but not enough to restore balance for everyday families. Crime indicators, especially property crime, have risen, lowering buyer confidence. Many homeowners are severely cost-burdened, spending large portions of income on mortgages. Renters face similar pressure as rents continue climbing despite stagnant wages. Job growth remains inconsistent, heavily tied to industries vulnerable to economic downturns. Some neighborhoods show increased default risks, signaling financial strain. Outmigration continues as families seek more affordable states. Modesto remains a city with potential, but its foundation is weakening under accumulated pressure. Number 8, Bakersfield. Bakersfield has marketed itself as an affordable refuge, but affordability alone can't offset deeper instability. Home prices may be lower than much of California, but local incomes lag even further behind. The city's reliance on the energy sector creates economic swings that destabilize household finances. Rising insurance premiums hit homeowners hard, especially those near high-risk fire zones. Rental demand has surged, pushing rents higher and creating competition among struggling households. Homelessness has risen noticeably in several districts. Many residents commute long distances for better wages, stretching their budgets. Foreclosure warning indicators are higher here than in similarly sized cities across the state. Slowing population growth threatens Bakersfield's economic momentum. Analysts warn the city may be entering a fragile phase of long-term instability. Number 7, Fresno. Fresno's housing market no longer reflects the financial realities of its residents. Home prices surged during the pandemic, but wages did not keep pace. With rising mortgage rates, affordability collapsed rapidly. Vacancy rates have increased in several neighborhoods, an early sign of softening demand. Property crime remains a persistent concern for buyers and investors. A large share of Fresno residents are cost-burdened, paying more than they can sustain on housing. Insurance increases have made it harder for first-time buyers to qualify for mortgages. Job growth is inconsistent, tied heavily to agriculture and vulnerable to climate impacts. Families increasingly view Fresno as too expensive for what it offers. Market experts say Fresno's housing foundation shows clear signs of strain that could worsen over time. Number 6, Stockton. Stockton has experienced financial instability before, and today many indicators are flashing warnings again. Housing prices escalated far beyond what median incomes could support. As interest rates climbed, buyer activity slowed sharply. Homes linger on the market longer, and sellers are reducing prices in neighborhoods that once saw quick sales. The city continues to struggle with higher crime levels, which depress investor confidence. Many homeowners rely on adjustable-rate loans, making them vulnerable to market fluctuations. Wildfire risk and rising insurance premiums add another financial burden. Outmigration continues as families seek safer, more stable areas. Job growth remains uneven, with key sectors slow to recover. Stockton is once again emerging as a warning light for the rest of the state. Number 5. Riverside. Home prices have outpaced household incomes for years, creating an unstable foundation. Riverside may appear strong on the surface, but its underlying affordability issues are severe. Many families depend on long commutes, raising transportation costs and reducing quality of life. Insurance premiums continue rising, adding significant annual expenses to homeowners. Rental demand is high, pushing rents upward even as wages stagnate. Homelessness has increased across major corridors, straining public resources. Commercial vacancies are rising, signaling decreased consumer spending. Younger families and first-time buyers are leaving due to limited affordability. Even higher-income buyers face tighter lending criteria. Riverside is becoming an example of a city where cost of living no longer aligns with economic conditions. Number 4. Oxnard. Oxnard's coastal location should be its biggest strength, yet rising economic pressures are overshadowing its potential. Housing costs remain high, while wage growth trails behind. Insurance premiums along coastal and fire risk zones have increased dramatically. Slow infrastructure improvements hinder mobility and reduce neighborhood appeal. Rental markets continue tightening as young residents move inland. Middle-income families are increasingly priced out of what was once an accessible coastal option. Home sales have slowed, and properties remain on the market longer. Small businesses face rising operational costs, limiting job opportunities. Higher living expenses continue pushing longtime residents away. Oxnard is now showing clear signs of structural housing stress that could deepen without intervention. Number 3. San Bernardino. San Bernardino carries some of the heaviest economic burdens in California. High unemployment, persistent crime, and slow business growth have kept the city under long-term pressure. Home prices rose in recent years, but demand has since weakened dramatically. Many families are priced out despite lower home values because mortgage and insurance costs are too high. Utility expenses have also risen, further stretching budgets. Aging infrastructure adds strain to neighborhoods and lowers property appeal. Outmigration is increasing, especially among families seeking safer communities. Development projects have stalled as investors shift to more stable areas. Public services face limited funding and increasing demand. San Bernardino shows multiple layers of collapse risk that other cities have only begun experiencing. Number 2. Antioch. Antioch was once seen as the affordable extension of the Bay Area, but that affordability has eroded quickly. Home prices surged from Bay Area demand, but these prices are no longer sustainable with today's rates. Crime concerns have risen, discouraging new buyers and reducing investor activity. Homeless encampments have expanded throughout the city, burdening public services. Insurance premiums have risen sharply, especially near high-risk zones. Demand has fallen significantly as commuting becomes too expensive for families. Days on market have increased, and sellers have begun reducing prices. Schools face declining enrollment tied directly to outmigration. Long commutes limit family stability and disposable income. Antioch now sits at a troubling intersection of high costs and weakening community structure. Number 1. El Centro. El Centro faces some of the most severe economic pressures in the state. Median household incomes remain far below California's average, making rising home and insurance costs especially damaging. Insurance premiums have climbed rapidly due to regional climate risks. Rental units have become increasingly unaffordable, pushing families into financial distress. Job growth is limited, with major industries struggling to expand. Outmigration has accelerated, shrinking the tax base required to support local infrastructure. Vacancies are rising in both residential and commercial zones. Public infrastructure needs far exceed available funding. Several neighborhoods show early signs of long-term economic decline and blight. Experts warn that El Centro may experience one of the sharpest downturns in California if current trends continue. California is changing, quietly, steadily, and faster than most people realize. If you want to stay informed about the hidden shifts shaping this state, housing, cost of living, insurance, migration, and the real numbers behind the headlines, make sure you don't miss what's coming next.